Greetings! Skill Incarnate bringing you all the latest indie gaming goodness. Welcome back as we look at another indie game. This time we're checking out Rise of Industry 2. This game was developed by SomaSim and is published by Kasedo Games. These guys worked on the space city builder Ixion, along with one of my favourite Warhammer 40k RPGs, Mechanicus. Rise of Industry 2 takes two of my favourite things, the 80s and capitalism, and it combines them into a challenging city builder. Now the game released to mixed reviews on Steam, with many people comparing it to the vastly superior first game. The game has its share of issues, and it does have bugs with the building system and with connecting utilities like water and power, along with a tutorial that is a little bit lacking. Now, despite all of these things, I still did enjoy the game, so I thought I might do a bit of a beginner's guide to help ease new players who may be interested in checking this game out. But just be aware the game is a little bit rough around the edges in its current state. Nonetheless, I'm going to flex my city building and industry building skills in Rise of Industry 2. One of my favourite things about Rise of Industry 2 is the amount of freedom you get in running your organisation. Your only real limitations are your budget, the needs of your investors, and the raw materials in the region. Now we have a few choices of industry to get started, and as we get more success and get more investors, we'll unlock more. We have a choice of petroleum, electronics, and in my case, logging. I chose logging because it's a great way to show you the ropes of the game, before we get into the more advanced types of business. Now, we're going to have a bit of a look at the HUD because this can be quite intimidating at first. We have our date and our speed controls, pretty standard for a city builder. Our budget, which is going to be eaten up very quickly. We're going to need to try and build as quickly and as efficiently as possible and start turning a profit as soon as we can before we eat this up. Next we have our research points, and this is where we break into other industries. We can research different products we can make out of wood. Next we have our satisfaction rating, and this is governed by the worker happiness, and this is determined by our relationship with nearby towns and the available housing for our people. This is another cost we're going to need to track because we're probably going to have to contribute to building extra houses. Next we have power and water, and this is probably one of the most annoying things in the game at the moment. It can be very hard to set up power and water lines, and sometimes they don't work, and sometimes you may need to tear them down and build them more than once. Now over here we have our scenario goals. Here we've got our investor, and we can see what we need to do: build a paper mill and build a cardboard factory. And for that we've been given $250,000. Now as we get more investors on board and our investors are happier, they will give us additional products to make and then offer us more money, eventually making up to the major contracts where we can earn the big bucks. Now the production manual is an in-game reference guide, and I recommend you look at this quite early on. While it is a bit hard to interpret, it does help to give you a bit of a guide on what products you need. Now in my case, I'm going to be looking mainly in agriculture for farming and in consumer goods for things like furniture. Now moving on to our land management, here we can determine what plots of land we want to buy. And we will be able to look for raw products, things we can mine, things we can take, This is our missions, and these are the things that we are going to get from our investors and also from other companies as we build a relationship with them. Now finally, we've got our executive team, and this is basically all of the workers that are working for me. At the moment it's pretty bare, it's just me and my VP. I'm going to eventually get an operations manager, probably one of the most important people in your team, because they can start building up contracts with other organizations. They can start talking to the local city, get us more power and water, renegotiate our supply, and also worry about hiring additional people. Okay, so with that, we're going to get started on building. In order to meet our first round of investment goals, we're going to need to build a complex that makes both paper and cardboard. We're going to start with a timber product complex. Now, a complex is basically a set of interconnected buildings that contribute to a particular product type. So we've got a logging complex and a wood product complex. Now, all of these need to have a central office, like so, and said office needs access to the main road. Now, you may wonder why I'm building here instead of here, or here. One, this region is very small and I need more room. Two, this region has raw product in the form of potash. Now, this is basically potassium, and we can use this to make fertilizer. And this is going to be very useful later on when we branch into agriculture. We can also make this into chemicals, which is probably where I'm going to start. So I'm going to leave this land free for now. What I'm going to do is build an access road from the main highway down to our complex here. There we go. Now, we're going to want a way to get the wood from our farming complex down to here. So next I'm going to build a storage warehouse for timber. Boom. Okay, I think that's going to be a good spot. Yeah. Let's move it over a little bit, so I've got a little bit of space. Boom. Now, I'm leaving this for a reason. You're going to see why soon. Add some road. Boom. Now, here is going to be where we build our power and water access. So, we need both power and water. So let's I'm going to leave a space here for a spare power station and a water pipe connector. These of course need to be connected to a road, and we need to build the pipes out and make sure you get this right, because if you miss this, it's going to be a lot of money to get it right. So I've put this here to be able to jack into the water system. As you can see, I've built this out of the way because I don't want to have any of this land taken up. Later on, we're going to build things like more farms and also a fertilizer plant. Okay, next is power. Let's connect the power up. Now you can run power lines over the top of water lines, and this is probably the most efficient way to set it up, although I kind of messed that up a bit. Never mind. There we go. Beauty. So this I've found is the most efficient way. Okay, let's start things up. Beautiful. Now you don't want to build too many things at once because they can only build one thing at a time. Now there's another thing I want to focus on, and that is research. So I'm going to build a I'm going to build a research station. And this is going to consume a fair bit of money, but it's going to start locking us in some research points. And this is very, very important. Something you want to do from day dot. So research station, I'm going to put one here as well, but let's keep things simple. Build the essentials first. Okay, so next thing we want to do is start thinking about contracts. Now you can make contracts to buy or sell, and basically this is just an agreement with another business to either buy or sell a product. Now I know from previous gameplay that there are a couple of things we need that we can't get just yet. First thing is chemicals. We need some of those, and we need them very soon. So I'm going to make a contract to buy 20 barrels of chemicals every 7 days. And I want to buy those. And let's go with a medium purchase, or medium band of the small purchase, of 16 barrels every 9 days. We're going to need to upgrade this later. Beautiful. Okay, so we've got our purchases on the way. I'm going to speed the game up a bit while we build these. Now there is a order in which everything is built, and if you want to jump the queue and make something built sooner rather than later, you can press this button here to make it first in the queue. The order I've got at the moment is actually pretty good, so we're going to leave it as is. Now we can't build any of these buildings without access via road, so we have to wait until the road is built. Beautiful, now they're starting to build. Now we're talking. So you can see we've got some research points coming in. And if we pause the game once more, these just telling us that the construction is complete. And this is important. We now have a successful negotiation with our boy for chemicals. I'm going to start that contract now. Now you may wonder, why am I buying stuff I don't need yet? We can't build this. Chemicals are very important, and we can't make our own just yet. We will. Once we start mining, we'll make our own chemicals. Now, can I start another contract? I can. Now, there's one more product we need to make cardboard, and that is dye. So I'm going to purchase a contract for dye, 14 barrels every 8 days. Boom. Now, this amount of trees is probably not enough, so I'm going to build some more farms. Like so. And I'm going to leave fertilizer for now. This would be nice, don't get me wrong. But I'm going to wait until we can make our own. Now you can already see we've blown through about 20 grand in a little bit over a few weeks. Doesn't sound like a lot, but you got to remember the 1980s, 300 grand was a lot of money. Now let's have a look and see. Now you can see we've got a notification about our upcoming delivery of product. And we've also got another successful negotiation, which means we can go into our contracts and now say, I want this. Beautiful. Because when we sign a contract, it's going to be a further week before they can start dropping product off. Okay, we're looking good. Let's speed things up a bit. Now there's something I have missed, and I just realised it, is we need a way to receive our product, which is going to be in the form of a timber loading facility. Oop, helps if I get the right one. So we've got storage, we need loading. And this is basically a bay from where we can make a delivery. Because we're not actually getting any products delivered here yet. And the only reason I haven't set that up yet is we don't have anywhere to store it. Looking good. So I'm going to use this function here to move this to the top of the queue so we can start delivering raw lumber. We've got our timber yard. Excellent. We've now got our timber loading facility. So I can do this. Add a new delivery of logs. And I know the output of this is roughly 10 a day. So I'm going to go from here to here. And I'm going to say 10 logs per day. And this is going to be expensive, but I might, we don't have anything yet to build them. So let's save our money for now. We'll just go with 6. We'll up this as needed. You got to remember, the more deliveries, the bigger the delivery, the more trucks, the more cost. Okay, we are redlining on water, so I'm going to build another water facility. Beautiful. We are good for power right now. And we're good for wood, we're good for everything. Beautiful. Okay, so we've got what we needed built. Now I'm going to build another research bay here. You really got to build these as early as you can. Then I'm going to start finally on our paper. Now you can see here paper needs 2 products, dyes, which we're already purchasing, and wood pulp. So wood pulp we can make. I'm going to do it here. Boom. And then a paper mill. We're going to need 2 of those. We don't really have a lot of space here. Maybe we'll put them here. Because that rock's in a really bad spot. We can't put anything there. Yeah, we'll put 1 here. Again, making sure it's connected via an access road. Now I would like to again get a contract. So let's pause the game once more. Now I am abusing the pause menu because you really do need to. This money we've got, we've only just got the bare minimum we need. Okay, now I would like to get another contract to sell paper. Now we don't have it just yet, but we will. Now, when you're selecting people you want to sell to, it's really good to have a company you have a good relationship with, and we're already buying stuff off this guy. New Park Foods is providing us chemicals. So I'm going to say I want 41 pallets. That's a lot, but look at that money. That's $14,000 a week. Now, I won't sign this just yet. What we're doing is we are going to market saying we have a contract for X amount of money. What's your interest? And if he comes back to us and he's happy, then we're golden. Okay, so our next problem is we are out of water. Look at that. Not good. Now the good thing is we can fix that by hiring a vice president of operations. Now we're going to have to wait a bit for that. As you can see, we are 10 wood logs. We're really hammering wood. We've got a lot in storage. I'm going to have to start upping the delivery soon. Oh yeah, we're going to need to up that delivery. That's rookie numbers. Got to pump those numbers up. Okay, up to 10. Probably a bit more, actually. Savage. Okay. Now, I noticed this road here. Oh, yeah, no, we're okay. We cut it tight. We cut it tight, son. I'm going to get some more delivery bays here. We're going to need more. Okay, good. We've got research coming. Now, speaking of research, the next thing I'm going to build, or research, is going to be probably this. Now, this is going to be a chemical processing plant. We may need to buy the oil, but it will be cheaper to buy the oil and turn it into both chemicals and dye than it will be to buy it direct. Again, it's going to be a while. It's very expensive in research points, which is why we planned ahead. Speed things up a bit. Okay, we now have some products here. Chemicals and dye. Beautiful. Okay, so now we have to do a little bit of math if we want to save some money. Having a look at our contracts, we get 16 barrels over 9 days. Now, if I deliver 2 barrels a day, that's going to clear 16. Now, oops, the other thing I want to worry about is dyes. And again, we get 14 barrels every day, 8 days. So what I'm going to do is start off with a delivery. And I'm going to add a delivery from... Oop, I just realized what I need to build next. I need a way to store liquid here. So we're going to need to build a tank. Very careless of me. I need liquid storage. Where are you at, liquid storage? There we go. So this is going to store both dye and chemicals for us. And because I can't build anything here because of that big rock, that's why I left this gap. Perfection. Now I'm going to need to build another bay for tankers to load the liquid, which is going to be here. Connect via a road. And once built, probably, oh, let's see, is that isn't building yet. So let's shuffle our order. There we go. So what I've done is I have stopped working on the paper mill in favor of storage and liquid, because we can't build any paper until we have these raw products in stock. Beautiful. Now, another thing we need to worry about is our executive team Oh, nice. Now, this is again the reason why we chose this guy is because of our relationship. He is putting another few $1,000s on top. So we're getting mates rates. Good stuff. And that's the thing. I found in this game, keeping track of your investors and negotiators is the single most important thing in the game. If you don't make smart deals and you don't get a good relationship with them, that's just money you're going to miss out on. Now we can actually butter up our friend here, go into connections and get an even better outcome. My boy Bernard here, and more importantly Robert Lloyd, we want to keep a good relationship with him. So what I'm going to do is go in here and we're going to go to lunch. I'm going to drop $500. Now this is in the 80s. I know $500 would probably buy me, one sausage roll nowadays, but there we go. So we've actually gained a bit of influence, because that's how it works in the business world. You want to get ahead, sometimes you got to spend a bit of cash. Now, good relationship determines how much money we make on deals, and more importantly, how often we can renegotiate our contracts. Now, I noticed a little bit of a mistake I made there. I didn't connect the road up. So that's going to speed things up a little bit. It doesn't matter anyway, we're still building the other building, so... Beautiful, okay. Now the wood pulp works, turns the wood from raw logs into wood pulp, which then is used... I know all this because my dad used to work at a paper mill. I know that we turn the wood pulp into paper. Now, of course, most of the younger audience are going to question what paper is, but at one point in time, if you wanted to store knowledge, you used to use a thing called a book. And that's why we need paper. It is the 80s, so no electronic comic books. You're going to have to read them. Very important resource in the 80s. The paper industry was a huge industry in Australia. Without paper, we're talking no comic books, no manga. Life just wouldn't be worth living. Now the storage tank is finished, we can start on a delivery. So I'm going to say I want from here to here 3 barrels of chemicals, and this is overkill. I'll adjust this back once we get on our feet, and 3 barrels of dye. Savage. Now we've got a new job candidate for our VP of Operations. Now this is something that we really want. This VP is apparently very good at contracts. And this is exactly what I am buying them for. Now, this guy's also got some pretty good abilities as well, but he is a procrastinator. And it means that we're going to use more water and power with this guy in charge. So you get the boot, and Sarah Farley, you get hired. Because of course, capitalism, we're always looking for the best person for the job. Meritocracy, baby. Okay, so now we should get some chemicals, and that will start the wood pulp works and the paper mill. Beauty. Now, of course, this is not going to be enough. We need more paper. So a second paper mill's going in. Now we're really going to thread the eye of the needle here. You can see we've already burned through half our money, and we're yet to make a cent. We've got a lot of research points though. I'm really happy with that. Now I've got my executive assistant. I want you to... We're not worried about new land yet. Let's look at a investor goal. Now we want to get our new... We're really running low on water. It's getting really bad. So I'm going to head over to here. And I am going to modify my water agreement with the help of my new VP. Get me some water. We need water. Don't care what it costs. Just do it. Excellent. So our team have gotten back with a couple of options. And I'm already working towards this, so let's select that as a goal. Which is to produce 10 pallets of paper a day. Now we're going to need 2 paper mills, because 1 mill only produces 6 a day. Also helps, we're really running low on wood pulp. Oh, we need storage. What a silly mistake to make. I just realised, see, even with the best of planning, if you make a mistake like that, we're wasting this wood pulp. That is bad. That is no bueno. So let's go into storage. We need, I believe, industrial storage. I'm sure it's industrial storage. So let's get... Yeah, we've got all other storage types covered. So it's going to be industrial. Let's get that here. Again, leaving a bit of room for more loading bays. Very rookie mistake from me. I assumed this warning was because we didn't have the materials. I'm just wasting money. We're just burning money here. Very, very, very bad thing. Okay, so paper mill is online. I'm going to pause this because I don't want to waste any more money, and I'm going to pause this as well until this is built. Now I'm getting really worried about we're really getting down to the brass tacks here. I've got to start making money, and I've got to do it now. Excellent. Our water supply is back in the green. Looking good. And we're even storing spare water. So you can see we've got not a lot, but that's good. Okay, let's speed things up a bit. Yep, we will receive the upgrade. Oh, I think I already did. Never mind. It's all good. I mean, water's always a thing we're going to need more of, so it's never a waste. Now, we'll see if our VP of Operations can do some other things. Ouch, okay. Let's, yeah, let's get her on building construction. That's going to help reduce our building cost, speed things up. Beautiful. Okay, so now we've got everything up and running. Let's get our paper mill going. And our wood pulp going. Okay, we are out of electricity. So that's easy fixed. Let's get some power in here. And connect that up. Okay, so hopefully we can start making some money in here. Yeehaw! Now we've got 12 paper rolls. So what I can do now is go into contracts. And I have kept our friend on ice here. 41 pallets every 6 days. We're going to make that easy. Okay, so let's start that contract. Then I'm going to start on a delivery system to get paper. I need a industrial loading facility. That's easy enough. Down here. Beauty. Now I don't want to lose any of my contracts. It's going to take a few days to build this. I probably shouldn't have started that contract just yet. But let's get loading. Okay, so paper, I want to deliver from my timber products to head office. Oops. Paper from here to here. 12 per day. Actually, I'm going to add a bit more because I want to try and get ahead. Because I've got a bit in storage. There we go. Looking good, looking good. So that's 16 grand a week. Now, what else can we use to make money? We have a big surplus of log. So what else can we sell with logs? Well, of course, it's going to be lumber. So I can build a sawmill. I could build one here, but I'm going to build another wood pulp facility here. So the sawmill can go right there. And I'm going to open another contract. I'm going to say, new contract. Lumber. I want to sell it, and I'm going to sell it to Southwest Construction. And 48 cords every 7 days. That's easy. That's easy. We'll get that. We'll get that no problem. Now we're really starting to hurt. I mean, we're coming down to the wire here. And I'm hoping I'm not going to have to take out a loan. I managed to make it by the skin of my teeth the last time. People aren't happy. We need to build some houses. But, yeah, I can't do much. The people are not happy. So I'm going to actually get my free gift from the mayor, which will be to boost worker happiness, which will delay the need for me to build houses. Looking good. Excellent. So we've met our first goal, which is to get paper. All we need to do is produce enough paper to keep our friends happy. I am going to go for research points. So this is basically our assistant negotiating with our investors on our reward for meeting their goals. And in return, I'm going to request research points. Now, why did I do that? Well, it's going to become very, very clear in a minute, because I want to build a chemical plant. Here we go, chemicals. So what I can do is build a chemical processing plant that we can use to turn oil into chemicals and dye. Because remember, we're buying this ourselves. I want to make it. Boom. Now, that's going to be a while off, because we need to start making money before we even consider buying anything else. We're kind of broke right now. I could have got a cash injection. I probably should have. But I'm thinking ahead. The faster we can unlock industries, the more we can expand. Now we can go again into contracts. And we've got our lumber sale agreement. I'm going to leave that inactive until we're ready. You can already see our water usage, everything's going up. We're actually nearly at capacity for power. I'm going to drop another power plant in. Actually, we are broke. I'm going to leave it until the last minute. You kind of have to in this game. You've really got to look at your costs. Speaking of costs, I'm going to drive the cost down. Get these deliveries down a bit. There we go. And I probably don't need so many logs. We've got a fair bit in storage now. Yeah, whoa, okay. We got a lot. We good. Okay, lumber's coming in, so I'm going to see if I'm going to need another timber loading bay, I imagine. Let's get one more delivery. Add a delivery. Lumber. From here. I'll need timber loading bay. We don't have enough. So I'm going to build another bay for timber. Basically, each of these bays allow us a set amount of trucks for delivery. Looking good. Not going to lie, I'm a little bit worried about a cash flow. That's getting really low. Okay, so now we can get a delivery going. Deliver 12 lumber per day from here to here. 12 a day. And 12 is the amount we produce a day, so it's going to be even. Looking good. So now we can go in and sign the contract for delivery of lumber. Again, Southwest Construction, we're going to be buying stuff off them as well. So you really got to keep a bit of a roster of who you're dealing with. Looking good. Really hoping that money starts rolling in soon, because I'm getting a bit stressed. Okay, so we're going to need another wood pulp facility. Because this is using... They're actually using the entire wood pulp facility worth of of product. So I'm going to build another wood pulp work. Then, oh dear, we're out of power. I'm going to have to... I was hanging off, trying to squeeze every dollar. We can't. Okay, so the last thing we want is a cardboard plant. And this bad boy is going to produce cardboard. The second product on our radar. Now this is going to need soda, so I'm going to get another delivery of soda. Whoops, another contract. New contract for soda. And again, we've got a good relationship with Neptune Chemicals. So I'm going to order 23 drums of soda. And I probably should have done that before we started building. They're running out of storage for lumber. Ah, I see. We're actually at capacity. Okay. So we can actually fix that by halting our delivery. We've got too much product. Too much raw product. And we've got nowhere to store it. It's all good. Oops, and I just realized I picked the wrong type of contract. So I'm going to go with this contract. We're going to have to wait to sign it on the contract. That was a selling contract. We need to buy. Now I'm getting a little stressed. As you can see, this is one of the challenges in the game. They only just give you enough money to buy the bare minimum. And if you make one mistake, although, oh, there we go. Right on the buzzer. So our first shipment of paper just hit and we earned ourselves a cool $16,000. And that's going to keep us afloat. We're going to sell that paper. We're going to make that money. And once we get cardboard underway, that cash flow is going to really start pouring in. Now we've got some workers not happy because of housing, but because I'm threading the needle right now, I really can't afford it. We'll worry about housing and more important costs later on. We've got to get our industry up and running, get that cash flow, then we can start worrying about houses. I know it sounds mercenary, but we run out of money, everything grinds to a halt, and all our workers end up homeless anyway. So let's negotiate that contract again, and what I want is soda, and I want to buy, I'm going to buy from Providence, that's okay, Neptune, let's go with Neptune, they're pretty good, and I'll buy 11 drums. Beautiful. So that means the cardboard plant's going to be down for about a week or so, but we just made some more money. We've now got 2 active contracts. Very good. So we've actually met our first investment goal. As you can see, we have our paper industry underway. Beautiful. Now I'm just waiting to hear back. Okay, I think we have a contract. Yep, that is good. Let's sign that. Now the soda is going to go from our head office to the cardboard plant. Soda and wood pulp. We're going to need our second wood pulp works. It's already going. Now we've got enough money to delay bankruptcy for a few weeks. Oh, our friend, one of our important business partners, wants to go for lunch. Of course. Now we're just waiting for that soda to hit our storage. The second it does, I'm going to set up a delivery. Speed things up a bit. Come on, give me that soda. I need that soda. Now this is one of the few things about the game that I'm not a fan of, and that's that you really are threading the eye of the needle. Like, in every single scenario, you will be virtually bankrupt before you start to turn a profit. And as you can see, I mean, I did make a few mistakes here, but I think by the large, I'm pretty good. Like, I've handled my money pretty well, and I've been pretty consistent. Gonna have to pay for more water. Thankfully, our paper mill is keeping the debtors away. We're breaking even. We're not making money. We're not losing it either. Once we get this up and running, we'll have 2 cardboard plants and we're going to start rolling in the cash. Okay, let's check if we've got soda. No soda. Unfortunately, it is quite a... Oh, we made it to our first winter. Did you see if that Yeah, it should be. Ah, okay, it's actually every 8 days. We're just waiting for that soda to drop in. Excellent, so we can upgrade our water as well. We're at 97% capacity. We gotta get more of that water. Oh, okay, we've got chemicals. We're still waiting for the soda. What is going on here? What am I paying for you guys? 3 days. 3 days. Not gonna lie, I'm getting a little stressed. We're gonna run out of money at this rate. We gotta get this paper industry up and running. We gotta make that money. Okay, let's get a delivery going for soda. So soda, we're going to say from here to here, 3 drums per day. Well, let's make it 4. Speed things up. Now, while we wait, let's negotiate a contract to sell cardboard. I want to sell maybe because I haven't made any yet. We need to make some cardboard before we can sell it, because we don't have any in stock. And that would be because the damn soda is still en route. Okay, so we've got the delivery today. Oh, finally, here we go. We're good. We're finally making cardboard. Excellent. Okay, so let's get our second cardboard mill underway. We are right on the verge of bankruptcy. If we don't get this up and running right now, we are in deep, deep trouble. We've been rescued. So contract, we're going to negotiate a new contract for cardboard. And then again, we've got a good relationship with Southwest Construction. 79 crates, $32,000. Now we've got our business up and running. We're right down to the buzzer, but with a combined $55,000 per week income, we've got this business off the ground. Now I'm going to show you a little bit later in the game when we can get into the more lucrative industries and jump forward in time. This is what my corporation looks like after 12 months. Now I've made several improvements. The tree farming complex now has a fertilizer plant that turns all of the waste I gather through my operations into fertilizer, which increases my yield of lumber. The timber area now has additional paper and cardboard manufacturing plants, and I've managed to upgrade my contract to a bigger consignment. But the most surprisingly profitable area is housewares. Now this is a simple operation, just making tables and chairs, but it's good profit. And it's very cheap to run. Now, what's not cheap is my reliance on chemicals. I need wax, soda, dyes and raw chemicals in huge amounts. So I figure, why not make our own? So I'm going to jump into my production manual, and I'm going to get all of my accrued research and invest in a chemical manufacturing plant. Now, I got a lot of this research by various funding for the town and the university. In exchange for massive amounts of money, they are giving me a steady amount of research on top of what I'm already generating. So we're going to start by building our chemical plant here. then the fractionation tower, which will turn the crude oil into chemicals. Then we're going to connect them via a road. And I'm going to need a storage area. So let's build a tank here. Then we're going to want a way to deliver the crude oil and move the chemicals. So we're going to need a bay for loading. Boom, boom, boom. Now, of course, all of this is going to require power. So let's do that next. Now, of course, we're right next to main, so I can jack into this very cheaply. Like so. Leave a bit of room for more power. We're going to need a ton. Now, you want to be careful. As I mentioned earlier, power and water are the biggest issues in the game. And it's not uncommon to jack into the water or the power and then still not receive any. At which point you need to demolish and rebuild your building. So it gets very expensive very quick. Okay, now the final part of the operation is to get a contract for crude oil. So I'm going to buy crude oil, and I have made contact with one of my few partners that will provide oil. This cost me a small fortune just to set this deal up. Okay, I want to buy 77 barrels every 7 days. Now that is a very expensive contract, but we are going to replace all of our chemical purchases with this plant eventually. Let's get building. Now I want to try and speed things up. I want the storage to be built next, then the loading facility. Beautiful. Because I want to get loading straight away. Even if this fraternization plant isn't ready yet, I want a full warehouse full of stock ready to go. Now I'm probably going to need more power, so let's get that going now. I was going to leave it till later, but no time like the present. It's not like we don't have the money. And we're going to need water. That ought to do it. Now, our cash flow is so strong that even though I spent about 100 grand in construction, we've nearly made it back. Excellent. So our new contract is ready to go. We're going to sign that. And we have another personal favour from the EPA, which I'm sure is going to be very happy with the fact that I'm building a chemical plant, but no thanks, I want to buy research points. I don't have any to sell. So having a look at our contracts, just giving you an idea of how much money I'm spending. 4 grand on dye. 2 grand on soda. 7 grand on wax. And how much on chemicals? 2 grand on chemicals. So we're looking at about $12,000 to $14,000 a week. If this place can get all of those products running, we're going to have $14,000 in our pocket. a week. Now, the other reason why I'm doing this is not just the money. The problem is that sometimes some of our contractors will run out of stock or drop us. So I've actually had to go through a few vendors, and it makes a lot more sense for us to be completely self-sufficient at this point in the game. And apparently we're not connected by an access road. We are. Oh, no, we're not. I am an idiot. I need to do this. So that was me. That was 100% my fault. What I should have done was move this over one and then built the road up the side here. But we've got a lot of land, and right now I don't have much else to build, so this will be fine. Okay, we're looking good. Now, there's one more little problem we have to deal with. And that is right now, I can only make base chemicals. Now, if I want to produce the other stuff that we were talking about, waxes, dyes, soda, I'm going to need more research points. So I can make this synthetic dye, wax, all this stuff's going to cost research. But right now this will replace a large chunk of my purchases. So let's just see if my first delivery's arrived. I'm guessing not. We need about a week. There we go, right on time. So we've got our crude oil. So I'm going to set up a delivery. Crude oil. And we need 6 per day. I'm going to make it 7, just to have a little bit of an extra bit in storage. Okay. There we go. Now, there is one more very welcome side effect of setting this operation up. We have natural gas. And natural gas is incredibly profitable. So I'm going to sell it. At least for now. So I'm going to sell natural gas, can I, at the moment? I cannot. That's okay. We can actually create a natural gas facility and turn that into power at a later point. But I'm guessing... yeah. Natural gas turbines, okay. We need an electricity complex. So let's have a look at that. Oh, we can. You beauty. So we can actually build a natural gas plant. And we are. We're going to build, we're 100% building that. Boom. So the additional natural gas that we are producing via our power plant, we've now shunted back into the community for a huge bonus for us. So our power problems, we're okay at the moment. I'm not running out of electricity anytime soon, but that is going to give us a huge bonus to happiness. And our operation is pretty much self-sufficient. So let's check how much chemicals we are. 4 barrels of chemicals. Okay, so it's not going to completely replace our current operation. I am still going to need to purchase chemicals, but I am going to be able to adjust my chemical purchases down. So 4 barrels of chemicals a day. Yeah, we don't have enough. So if we do some quick math, I get 77 barrels a week, which is 10 barrels a day, roughly. Yeah, it's not going to be enough. No, 6 a day, 12 a day. Yeah, I'd need a bit more. We don't have enough for 2 yet, but that's okay because that's just our current consignment now. Okay, so last problem we're going to wrap up with is fixing housing for our workers. So all of these new plants have gotten us a bunch of new workers coming in, and the mayor's going to want a bit of money to provide more houses. So there's 20 grand for you. Let's build some more. No, we can't yet. Let's build some small houses. Look at that. Now we just dropped about 40 grand, which is chicken feed to me, but we've got a happiness rating. We just look at our power. Beautiful. Like if we find a way to get a water plant in here, we are set. Now the only thing left to do, which we won't be able to do today, is to go in and research how to make wax and soda and all that other stuff we need in refining. So wax, we need to make wax. We also need to make soda. We can make soda from potash. So we can actually build potassium here. So let's do that. Oh, we're going to need mining. No, we're not going to be able to do it. That's okay. So in order to mine this and turn it into potassium, I would need to research potassium mining, which we don't have enough for yet. We're very close. But I'm going to leave it here. I hope this was a good look at the game for you. Now, as I mentioned before, it does have a few issues, a few bugs, and the game is very hard to understand in the early game, and it's very easy to ruin your run because there's very little room for error. And I think that the game would really benefit from a more expanded tutorial. It was about 5 runs for me before I could even get to this point, and I play these games quite regularly, so if you are going to buy this game, just be aware you are going to have to do quite a few failed runs, and maybe do a bit of research before you find some success. But I think it is worth checking out because there's just so much depth to this game. There's so many different types of industries. You've just seen one. There's farming, there's mining, electronics, petroleum. There's a bunch of different locations across the world. We're only kind of dipping into the basics of the game, but just be aware that it is very buggy at the moment. There are a lot of improvements to be made, but the developer is working on it, and from what I've seen in the feedback on Steam, they are working actively on improving the game. But just be aware, if you're going to check this out, it may not have the level of polish you may find in other city builders, but I'm looking forward to seeing what the developers do with this, because out of all the city builders, this has got one of the most amounts of promise, and certainly one of the most amounts of challenge and also content to explore. So hopefully you enjoy this video. Leave me a like, leave me a subscribe, and hopefully you'll join me next time when we check out another indie game. Until then, Skill Incarnate, out.